Landon and Lane had some nice strengths for you guys out in the practice field. Was that the perfect end to two 90-plus degree days?
It looked like a Gatorade can to me, but no, it was a nice gesture. The O linemen suffer together sometimes, so it's always a bond. Even on other teams, we respect each other's games and stuff. So it was a nice gesture.
Joel, what's it like going up against Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis?
Yeah, great players. Their whole interior, 97 is a good player too, young player ascending. But all three of those guys are great players. They play hard. I think Jalen Carter obviously was one of the best D tackles in the game last year, and Jordan Davis has slimmed down and is playing hard. So it's a good challenge, but it's great to do it in practice where, you can try something. If it doesn't quite work right here, not to try that in the game.
How about Moro Ajomo, who Landon said has kind of an awkward build in the best way possible, long arms and all that?
Yeah, it's what I was 97 referring to. I couldn't pronounce his name, so I didn't want to butcher it, but I appreciate that. No, I got to go against him a bunch. He's, like you said, he's like, for his size, like really long arms. He's pretty powerful. I think his key is how hard he plays and how good he knows the game. He's on the backside of a play. Like, he's not going to stop. Runs games well. And he has more power than you think. He's probably like 290 or 295. But he'll bring a bull rush as well.
Joel, what's the state of the run game right now?
Hard to tell in a practice where you're not tackling. I think the couple times we've been live in our camp and stuff like that, they've had some good things. We know the Eagles' defense is, a great run-stopping defense. They've done some really good things, obviously Super Bowl champs. But there were some good moments. Like, we had some good pops, and usually, it's run game. There's one play that, misses a block or something, and it looks bad. But for the most part, I think it's coming along, and I think we're getting to a good point.
Is this a good couple of days to test that out, though, just because it is a different front, a different defense than what you guys use?
Yeah, they're a 3-4 base defense, run a lot of penny fronts and stuff like that. So our defense is very 4-down or 6-1. And for us to get a chance to go against someone else and some great players is a good time to test things out.
What was sort of the big takeaway when you guys went back and looked at yesterday? What did you feel like you needed to improve on? What was the biggest kind of things?
I think for us we had too many MAs. I think we had 70-some plays, and there was a lot of MAs, and we were like, hey, if we're not going to even give ourselves a assignment correctly, we're not going to have a chance here. So just playing a new defense, seeing a few looks that we hadn't seen on film yet, and just understanding like, hey, we can communicate up there and find a way to pick it up correctly.
So did you knock back that Gatorade on Wednesday?
Yeah, no comment on that. Yeah, I thought it was a Gatorade, so that's what I drank out there.
Joel, I know you didn't watch your guys' defense
Yeah.
much, but you've gone against them. They had two, it looks like, pretty strong days creating pressure. What's it been like going against them, and do you feel good about that you guys have held up against a pretty good front all of training camp?
Yeah, our defensive line, we know is going to be the strength of our defense, and, one of the strengths of our team. Anytime it, starts with Miles, it's a good thing, and then Malik and Graham and all these guys, all the DNs, like, fighting for that spot. They're really pushing each other, I think, to be the best. And so it's a tough group. And the way they play is just a little bit different than most teams. They penetrate. This team will two-gap sometimes. They'll penetrate sometimes. So it's a good challenge for anybody. But, yeah, we've been going against them. We know. The guys that have to block Miles in practice, we tell, like, show us the effort because he beats a lot of guys. You know what I mean? I think you saw it today, two of the better tackles in the game. And he will compete with those guys every play. So it's always a good challenge for us.
Joel, at this stage of your career, you're sometimes out there, sometimes not, sort of navigating that just to kind of get ready for the season. How much do you feel like you guys have mastered, both you and the team, how you get your body right so that you're sort of set for the season starts, but you're not doing too much?
Yeah, we're at a good spot. With these preseason games, you get a kind of like a little buffer. So I went pretty much all the plays the last couple of days to really get that humid grind. At the end of practice today, you're like, oh man, I'm, catching my breath out here. But it's a good mix. I know in season we'll find a way. I don't mind practicing. I enjoy practicing. It's just we got 17 games too, so it is a mix that we have to try and figure out.
Joel, how big of a difference does it make? Last year left tackles were injured. They weren't out there in the spring and summer. How much of a difference does it make that you've been able to have DeWand out there kind of all spring, all summer, and really kind of get things together over there?
Yeah, you hope all season long you'll have the same guy next to you because that's who you've been working with. And he's trying every day to be the best version of himself. And there's tough days and there's good days, especially with Miles, that he's out there battling. So it's good, though, because you want to work the double teams. You want to work the communication. I thought today, like in our 2-minute period, we had a couple twist pass-offs that were really solid. So it's just taking those steps and continuing to improve those.
What have you seen out of Mason? How have you seen Mason get better? I mean, now that you guys have started to really go live.
Yeah, he's explosive. I think his football IQ is like tremendous. You know what I mean? Like he knows football and knows how to make plays. I think it took him a couple weeks because he's a two-gap shed guy in college, and now he's penetrating and you know, our defense like say FSU, and so he's learning that. But from what I've seen and what I've gone against, I got against Malik most of the time because he mostly plays over me. Yeah. But I've seen some big improvements. I think his pass rush has improved, and his ability to kind of wiggle out of blocks is pretty impressive as well.
Joel, what about DeWand and just playing next to him as much as you have? Where has he grown in that left tackle spot?
Yeah, he's getting more comfortable. You know, I think naturally he feels like he's the right tackle, but it's like, hey, with your position, you know, we want you to try left, and he's developing there. But it's really the growth of like really competitiveness and fighting through tough plays. Like everybody knows they're gonna have tough plays, but he's trying to grow as a player in that sense where it's like, hey, I had a bad play, we got to play the next play. It's a 60-70 play game, but he's doing a good job in that, and I think this was a good test where, you know, it was hot, it was tough out here, new guys, and he was really fighting through it.
Joel, with all the quarterback injuries, it looks like it might be shaping up to be Joel for the dress rehearsal and for the week 1 start. Based on what you saw out here in these practices, how do you feel about how the offense is shaping up potentially with Joe as your QB?
Yeah, we have faith in the room and the coach's decisions, but, you know, we've been around, you know, Joe, and he's done a great job for us, you know, led us to the playoffs a couple years ago. So we have all the faith in him. Obviously, we hope all our quarterbacks aren't banged up, kind of how it is right now. But I think he's shown that he can lead this team, and his poise and his confidence in the huddle is what you'd expect from an 18-year vet. So we have all the confidence in the world, whoever they put out there. But, you know, Joe's obviously been the healthiest guy and you know, kind of our option right now.
You've seen a lot of quarterbacks in a lot of quarterback situations. Have you seen anyone quite like this one in training camp where you come in with 4 and all these, and suddenly there is still a scarcity?
Yeah, no, I have not. I was wondering what the record is for like most quarterbacks on the roster at one point, you know, with Deshaun and Snoop, you know, getting up to 6. So I was curious about that. But no, usually, you know, they don't really get hit or anything. So usually the quarterbacks are the healthiest in camp. You know, they're, tough day out there, and it's like, was it? You know? But no, it's definitely an interesting thing. But I think Coach Stefanski and the staff have really done a good job of navigating it, trying to get guys reps, and, you know, when they're healthy, get them out there. Sweet. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.